in child protective services, and they won't give them back to their loving families because they're making money.
This is a legal system that you're going into. And if you don't know the rules, you will be chewed up and spit out.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Yeah. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
It's okay. It's okay.
This isn't someone stole your car. Someone broke into your house. This is someone took your child, your flesh and blood.
It doesn't say on this order that it was not proven. It says untrue. I immediately knew that, okay, well, this ain't over.
Signs? Did I miss them? Did I catch them? At this point, I honestly don't know.
Families only get a finite amount of time to reunify.
I came into this field to help families, not destroy them.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
They say that they're interested in taking care of the little innocent ones. They're not taking care of our son. They told us they could do a better job than us, Doc. That's what they said.
If I could say anything to a mother who just got their children detained, you're in a crisis. Life feels like it's over. The most important thing is regaining custody of your children.
The child welfare system at its core is designed to protect children who need protection, okay? And that's key, is who need protection.
So social workers, out of fear, will remove more children rather than only remove those children that truly need to be removed.
The difference between the criminal system and the child welfare system is substantial. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fight CPS with LA. This is a beautiful day in Florida, and I'm Kylie. Hey Kylie, how are you? Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you were saying. You're breaking up really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gotta love Wi-Fi and internet connectivity. It's difficult these days. So tell me what state you were in, Kylie.
I'm in Florida.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your experience with CPS.
Well, it wasn't a good one. So I was really young. I mean, not super young, but I was like, I'd say 16, 15 years old. They took me and my girlfriend away from each other. They put me in a youth shelter when my dad was in jail, when I had other family members to go to. And they were in a different state, and they put me in a youth shelter in Sarasota, and I was staying there for a while, and my grandparents kept trying to get me, and it was really hard because they kept denying my grandparents.
Why were they denying your grandparents?
I honestly don't even know. I was super young. I just know that I was there for months on end waiting for them to finally let me go to my grandparents. They wouldn't tell me anything. They only talked to the adults.
See, and I don't understand that. Like, there's a total lack of communication, and it seems to be across the board, like across the country. Everybody struggles with the same thing. There's no communication. They don't tell you what's going on. You really have to dig.
Yeah,
So
no,
what
for sure.
what happened from there? Like, how long were you at a youth shelter before anything happened?
I was there for about like I don't even like 2 to 3 months. I was there for it felt like forever, but I was there for like 2 to 3 months until they finally told my grandparents that they could come and get me, and they ended up taking me to Michigan, and stayed there for a while until my dad got out of jail, and I ended up coming back to Florida with my dad.
Wow. And like, how long was the process for you before you got back to your father?
It was a big thing. So my grandparents had temporary custody over me, and my dad had to end up getting it back. It took them, I was with my dad, or I was with my grandparents for, I would say, like almost a year. I was going to school there. I was trying to make it my new home, and it took a while, but I ended up going back to my dad.
What was that like for you? I mean, that must have been really difficult to have to move to a new state and then back to a different state. That must have really been hard for you.
It was very hard for me, because I grew up with my dad. My dad basically raised me. My mom was not there, which we dealt with a CPS case because of my mom. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But I, my dad was there for me when nobody else was, and going to a different state with my grandparents, who I didn't really know that well, it was really hard, but I liked it better than being in the youth shelter where they treated me like not human. The youth shelter was mostly for like bad kids, um people that didn't go to school, or kids that didn't go to school, or you know didn't respect their parents, so the staff
Wow.
know that I wasn't there for that.
Oh my gosh. That must have really been a struggle for you. Like, you're in a place that you really don't belong, for, juveniles that are struggling, and have issues, and you just got kind of thrown out of your home. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
That is very well put, because I don't know if you've ever noticed or if you follow kind of how CPS operates, but it happens to anybody and everybody. Nobody is immune from CPS. However, they are immune. They have qualified immunity. If want to go sue them, or pursue anything legally, it's very difficult.
Right.
So was your case with CPS, were they involved for a year and then they kind of went away, and you just, what about your life, or, how did that end for you?
They kind of, I mean, so let me think here for a second. When I moved to Michigan, they kind of kept she made me keep in touch with her to make sure I was doing okay. And, we had like on the phone visits, or whatever she called them. Like, we would call her, me and my little sister.
You're a CPS worker?
Yes. we would call her and kind of just explain to her like what we've been doing, like are we okay? And she was a nice lady. I will give her that. She was a nice lady, but the way she just kind of put us in a youth shelter, when we were fine, like my dad had a big house. He had food in there. Like, I was 16 years old, 15, 16. I was fine. He was
Wow.
only going to be in there for like a couple of weeks. So, but the way she just like
Wow.
took it from there and was like, okay, no, you have to stay here in the youth shelter. And then you're going to go to Michigan and your dad can't have you back until he fights some stuff in court. So
That must have been really traumatic.
yeah, they took his rights away from us, and gave them to my grandparents. And I think that's what took so long, was for them to get it notarized and stuff, for them to come and get us. Well, I'm sorry, to get me, not my sister.
Amen, Cheryl.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a big thing.
So it went on for a little over a year, and then they kind of gradually disappeared from your life, or how did
Yeah.
that work?
Yeah, they just kind of like disappeared after a while, stopped calling, and I just, unless they called my grandparents and spoke to them on the daily, I don't honestly know, but they stopped talking to me.
That must have been really frustrating too, because you don't know what's going on. You're uprooted from your home, taken to another state, and then brought back to your home state. So you had kind of a little adjustment up there in Michigan, and then you come back down to Florida and try to pick your life back up. I'm so sorry. Um, how are you today, like from that experience?
Um, that's honestly not the worst experience that I've had from CPS. I would have to say the worst one was with my mom, and that really like traumatized me. I have like abandonment issues, and I like can't be alone. Um,
Did
I've
they
got
give you services? Like, did they offer counseling or anything like that?
so they did tell my grandparents when I was in Michigan to, see if I wanted to go to therapy and try to get me therapy and all this kind of stuff. But honestly, I'm into like crystals, I'm into meditating, I'm into thinking like, this world is better than what people say it is. And just try to think positive about everything. And me personally, I don't believe that speaking to somebody that I don't know is going to help me, because I can speak to my girlfriend and vent to her about something and she'd make me feel more better than somebody that I don't know. And also, I have really bad social anxiety, so I can't just sit there and talk to somebody about how I feel who I don't know.
Right. So I mean, they offered, but they never really, encouraged services like counseling or talk to you about kind of anything that you needed from your experience. That's crazy to me. Like, you're the one that's kind of suffering, and you did nothing wrong, and um, it's just it blows my mind that you had to go through such a traumatic event and weren't helped throughout the process.
You know.
It just it doesn't make any sense to me, and they really need to step that up. The focus is on, well, we got to remove the kid from the parent because they're quote unquote, danger in danger, and they don't stop to think about pursuing what the kids are going through. And that's kind of my issue, is with my son. He never got services, and it was traumatic for him to go through, and nobody does anything about it, and it's not right. It's not okay. If they're supposedly there to help, why aren't they helping the people, especially the children, who they're supposedly there to protect? Um, but ripping a kid from their parent and placing them somewhere foreign to the child is abuse in my eyes.
No, for sure. How old is your son?
He is 3. He's 3 now. He's a big 3.
My goodness. Now, do
Yeah,
you,
he's amazing.
so what's going on with that?
My case is still ongoing, so I can't really talk a whole lot about my case, but uh, it's going in the right direction finally. But it really took a long, long time. It was a long road. Um, I My son was removed because I was with my former spouse, his father, and they told me that I had, a failure to protect him. Um, and I've kind of had to jump through a lot of hoops because they've used my past against me. Um, I, went through a very traumatic event. I witnessed the murder of my mother and stepfather of 11 years. And I went through kind of a period of, where I drank and I wasn't so nice when I drank. So, but I've been sober from alcohol for, God, I don't even know how long it's been now. It's been quite a while. But I had to do like classes and therapy, which is great because I embraced all of that.
Right.
I knew that my mental health was important to take care of. And so it was kind of like divine intervention. As much as I don't like CPS, it kind of happened at the right time for me to be able to kind of get services for what I had experienced a long time ago. So I'm trying to look at like you said, the positive side and, embrace the services that, I did. And I'm still continuing with those classes and courses and still trying to educate myself on, how I can be the best mom to my son, because he deserves only the best me,
Of
as
course.
do I. So, um, and you said you experienced another CPS case with your mother. So you experienced one with your father, one with your mother separately?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my goodness. What was that like?
Um, so basically, like I said earlier, my dad raised me, and it's because of this particular case. So I was really young. I was like 7, and my mom was doing drugs, and I got home from school one day, and the cops are all up in my face telling me that they need me to tell them what's been going on and if my mom's been acting weird. And mind you, I was like 6 or 7. I was super young. I didn't know what they
Oh
were
wow.
talking about. I was like very confused. I got off like the school bus. All my friends on the school bus were like, "Uh-oh, the popo's there. Uh-oh," like making fun of me and like but they ended up saying like just basically asking, it was me, my sister, and my 3 cousins, and then my mom and her sister, which is my aunt. And we were all there, and they're all asking me questions, asking my cousins questions, asking my sister's questions. We ended up going to the hospital. We all had to end up like peeing in a cup for them. And my mom and my aunt took forever to pee because they knew that, it was going to come out dirty. And all I remember is my mom like out in the other room, and I'm locked in the other there's like a room and then a hallway, and I'm locked in the room, and my mom's in the hallway with handcuffs, crying and screaming for me, and I'm screaming for my mom because my mom is like leaving and I don't know what's happening. And somebody came in, which I believe was probably a caseworker, but to be honest, I don't really remember. It was so long ago. I was so young. I just remember them like trying to hold me down because I was like screaming for my mom and trying to get out of the room. And I didn't even get to say goodbye to my mom. And that was I saw her for 2 seconds walk down that hallway, and till I was about like 10 was when I got to talk to my mom.
That was like that's years.
Yep. It's like 4 to 5 years that they didn't let me say goodbye to my mom. They didn't tell me what was happening. They just told me I was going to go with my dad, and I was confused onto why my mom just got taken from me, and why I'm like, just why everything. It was very traumatic.
I can imagine. That is, wow, that is a lot. That's heavy. That's heavy stuff. I'm so sorry. And it's hard because when the child is young, you know, you can't really communicate a whole lot to them because they don't understand. But it seems like nobody communicated anything to you. So
No.
you really did. You had no clue. You just thought that these people like ran away from ran away with your mom.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. And at such a young age to go through that, that is just crazy. And for you to come out as positive and amazing as you are, like that's such a beautiful result. um, so did your mom get services or like what? Like how did that transpire? What ended up happening?
I'm sorry, one more time, you broke up.
What ended up happening with that? Like when you finally did get to talk to your mom.
So my mom ended up getting out of jail, and my dad let me call her, and I basically just I just remember being on the phone, bawling my eyes out, asking her why, why did that happen? Like, why aren't you here with me? Like, why am I with my dad?
Yeah, you had a lot of questions, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
no, I was just asking her like so many questions, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, my dad's standing right next to me, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, and it was at that time, it was years ago, so I was also like a little bit lost as well, because I I don't remember exactly like how I felt like a week after she went to jail.
Sure.
I just, remember like just being upset about it, and eventually just kind of went on about my life. My dad did some things with me and my little sister to kind of make us like not forget about it, but not think about it so much. And I was with my dad,
Right.
who I hadn't seen in a while too. So I was happy to see my dad, but at the same time, I still had that in the back of my head, like, where's my mom? And I ended
Yeah,
up
it's definitely a different dynamic, right?
right. And I ended up just talking to my mom that day, and just crying and wanting to stay on the phone with her all day and asking her when she's going to come and see me. And she never did. She was still like doing drugs when she got out of jail. And I don't know, it was a very traumatic thing that I remember some parts of, but some are kind of like blurry. The main thing I remember is being at the hospital.
You were at the hospital for why?
Because they made us all
Oh,
go
like
to
when they took you from your mom, you mean?
yeah, we all went to the hospital to pee in a cup. Me and everybody was peeing in cups.
They
Because
made you and your sister pee in a cup
yes, because my
at
mother
7 years old.
Yes, because my mother was making it in the house and they wanted to make sure that we
Oh,
didn't have anything in our system.
oh, wow. Wow.
Yep.
Did your mother ever seek services or, get any kind of help with, her drug addiction?
So she recently just stopped doing drugs. Um, a couple years back, she's on Suboxone. She is trying to do better. She's got really bad heart problems, so she is, she has to take medication for that, which is also not good to take with her Suboxone.
Mm,
And it's so, I mean, she's trying. I can give her that. She's, got a new job and um she's trying to get her license back in a car and trying to do better with herself. I still talk to her.
good.
Um,
Oh,
we
that's
talk every
great.
day.
I'm so glad.
Yep, we
That's
talk every day.
awesome. We talk every day.
Every day.
That's really, really, like that gave me chills everywhere.
I don't know what happened. Hello? We
Sorry.
disconnected.
Yeah, I just had a little blackout for a second there.
Okay.
um, but I was saying, there's a lot of people that struggle with addiction, and I think that we should take a minute and stop and talk about that a little bit. If you're struggling with substances, um, I think, in my opinion, and, I'm just, the average Joe here, but in my opinion, don't isolate yourself. Don't, you know, keep yourself locked in your own bubble, talk to somebody. You don't have to, um, tell the world, but, if you are involved in a CPS investigation and you are using drugs, they're gonna find out. You're not gonna get your kids back, and um, you need to recognize that you need help and utilize the services that you are given, and then seek more services.
Right.
Ask for more.
Ask for
You
help
know,
is always the best
right.
thing to do. You have to realize you're doing wrong to fix your doing wrongs.
And I think that that for a lot of people, that's where they struggle, is the asking for help. They're
Right.
reaching out and saying, "Hey, I have a problem and I need help." The first step is to recognize you have the problem in the first place, and then definitely seek help and get services. Take the recommendations that CPS offers, because it's only going to better you for your kids. And had your mom maybe utilize those services more, or I don't know, really know the circumstance of your mom and her participating in her case plan or anything, but definitely kind of, if you're involved in a CPS investigation, you're kind of locked in.
Right.
There's really no, you can't run away. You can't just, not, um, you know, if they're in your life, they're going to be there till they want to be there, and until they say they're going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, utilize those services and get some help if you are struggling with addiction. Even the first step could be talking to a friend or somebody that you trust, and letting that go, and admitting that you have an addiction, because you're not going to get your kids back if you are in active addiction. Um, it's just not going to happen. So, seek help for that, and, just reach out. But,
Right. And
I
I
can't
think
believe that you guys had to pee in a cup. That's crazy to me. That's traumatic in itself, just that.
yeah, and I was little, so I'm like, why am I peeing in a cup? Like, and
Right.
like the doctors are like testing me for stuff, examining me, and I'm like, what is going on? Why are we at the hospital? I got out of school. Why is my whole family here? Because
Oh
we all
my
live
God.
in the house. So I was like, what is going on? And it was very traumatic. I think about it a lot. I dream about it. It was and I have another CPS story, and this one's the best one yet.
Wow. Do tell.
Yes, my mom, before any of this happened, before she went to jail and everything, we lived at her boyfriend's house. And this is like, this stays with, I have nightmares about this man, okay?
Oh my gosh.
He was very abusive mentally and physically towards my mom. Now, I don't really remember what started all of this, or maybe they were arguing or whatever, but he was very manic. Like, he was not there. He seemed like a psychopath. That's how he acted.
Whoa.
He had my sister, my cousin, one of my girl cousins, and my mom, all four of us on this. We had like a bunk bed in me and Carly's room, my sister, and we were on the bottom bunk, and he has us all four sitting there, and he was basically saying like, whoever tries to call the police first, I'm gonna slice your neck.
Whoa.
Yeah. So my
Wow.
my cousin ends up sneaking off and running to the phone and running down the road, calling the police. The police and CPS came. Oh, you're back.
I just keep having blackouts. Apparently. So sorry. So
You're
the
fine.
police and CPS came.
Yeah, the police and CPS came to the house, and we ended up telling them what happened, and they didn't do anything. The police didn't even arrest him. CPS didn't really
Wow.
stay to help us
Oh,
out. And I just remember like my mom and me and my sister and my cousins and everything, we all had to go get a hotel room and leave his house. And I remember my mom giving the front desk a picture of him and saying, if he comes in here, like, don't tell him that we are here. Don't tell him anything, just send him on his way or call the police. And he did end up for sure coming there. And once again, the police didn't do anything. And my mom ended up running away with us. And I remember being in a car forever. And we ended up going to Ohio. And that's when all this stuff started, was when she moved in with my Aunt Tina. And, they started doing drugs, and we went to the hospital, and we got taken. Well, my mom got taken away. Are you still here? Oh, I don't know what keeps happening.
I'm so sorry. I tell you what, I struggle with Wi-Fi and internet on like the daily. It's
No,
really frustrating.
it's okay.
um, so sorry about that. So I'm sorry. Continue where you left off.
I honestly don't know where I got cut off. For a second, I realized I was talking to myself.
Sometimes I do that, and it's therapeutic.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so you said that CPS they didn't get involved, but they came that night that happened with your mom's ex-boyfriend, hopefully.
Yep. Yep. They didn't do anything. They just kind of like, I don't even really know. I just remember them talking to my mom and then them leaving. They didn't do anything. So we ended up having to go get a hotel room. And when we did, we gave the front desk a picture of him and was like, if this guy comes in here, like, please call the police. And don't tell him that we're here. If he asks for us, like, we do not want him to know we are here. He's crazy. Like, he needs help. And so, and that was basically the end of it. Then we went on a long car ride and went to my Aunt Tina's house, and that's when all the other stuff happened.
What, your next CPS case, you mean?
No, the other one where I went to like the hospital and everything.
Wow. Wow.
So it was kind of like
See,
back
this
to back
is,
to back to back.
yeah, and from a very young age. See, you guys, this is really cool, and I love that you're on the show with me, Kylie. Thank you so much. But this is what's really cool is um, we have somebody here who experienced the trauma from the other side. This is not the parent. This is the child that had to be taken away and was traumatic, suffered traumatic events and in abundance, unfortunately for you, Kylie. That is, wow, that's heavy stuff.
It was very hard. Like my dad had to raise two girls. He didn't know what to do when, we had our periods. Like I can just like remember his face when like I first started my period. He didn't know what to do. But he was
And like, kudos to your dad, for getting stuff together and taking two girls and raising them and not knowing exactly how to navigate, a young girl becoming a woman. And that's amazing. And kudos to your dad. You used to have a good relationship with him, I hope.
Yes, I try to talk to him every day, but he works a lot. Like he is a working man. He works every single day of his life. He could work all day and all night if he could. But I do talk to my dad. He helps me out when I need it. He, buys me food. He puts gas in my car, and I help him the best I can because I give total props to my dad. My dad was there when my mom was not, and that's very hard. Like it's very hard raising two girls as a man. He was like, "You want to do makeup? No. Heck no. You're too young. Oh, you missed your period?" He didn't even let me use tampons as a young age. He was like, "No, you are not using tampons." So, yeah.
That's really cool that your dad stepped up and got himself together, from his CPS case, and then, took care of you girls when your mom was in active addiction and the country struggles with that. I think probably the nation struggles with some kind of addiction. And you're kind of a miracle. because you are so positive and you know you you have turned it around and brought the negative.
I don't know if you can hear me. Oh,
Break. We don't have union down here, but somebody should probably complain. Sorry about that. I really think that my house is like a dead zone for any kind of connectivity. Probably if I go outside and stand next to a pole or something, a lot
yeah,
better.
mine too. Mine too.
It seems to be everywhere because I've noticed, that all of our, all of the staff kind of has had issues of, I feel like somebody's doing it on purpose.
Somebody's sabotaged.
Yeah. So where are you at today? Like, how do you, I know you said you think about, your CPS investigations and kind of how it impacted you. But where has that left you today? Because you still struggle, with the memories of what happened.
So, I try to think positive about the whole situation. I try to, remind myself that that happened to me because God knew that I can handle it and it's going to just make me stronger in the end. And, without that all happening, I don't think I'd be the person I am today. I've just really just tell myself like that made me stronger, and it's made me realize a lot of stuff more quicker than other people, most people. It made me grow up really fast, and that's probably not a good thing, but I guess it kind of is because I'm 19 years old, living on my own, getting, I have a nice job, make good money, I have my own car, I've got a dog, a bunny. Um, I'm just trying to make the best out of it, honestly. I feel like it made me stronger. And that's all I can really say about it is that it made me stronger and it made me the person I am today. And without that, I feel like I'd be a totally like stuck up, different kind of person. And I like the person I am.
That's amazing. Kylie, thank you so much for sharing. You guys, I'm going to end the show a little bit early because I'm sure you guys are all tired of the blackouts as much as I do. Get tired of them. And I'm sorry for the connectivity issues. But I want to play a song before we leave and, just hopefully instill some inspiration. And, you guys hang in there. Parents, you can do this. You can get your kids back if you just control of what you have control of. What do you have control of? Over yourself. You. You can only control you, what you do, how you act, how you behave. So just hang in there and get your kids back. Fight for them. They need you. They don't want to be traumatized as much as you don't want to be traumatized. And they're the most important thing here. So I'm going to play this song for you. And good luck to everybody. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you, Kylie, very much. And 1 second, I'm going to get this song.
All right.
And here it is, guys. This is Brantley Gilbert, Hard Days.